All the cylinders are in the bathtub, see that? So the on-off switch is on the right side. The low range goes up to 60 kips. The high range goes up to 300 kips. It's got a loading wheel. See the loading wheel here? Loading wheel if I want to add load to the specimen. This is the unload wheel if I want to take load off. What do these buttons do? Turn on the hydraulic pump. So right now the hydraulic pump is not running. How do I know which gauge is functioning at the present moment? You see these valves here? So right now the right valve is open, meaning that I'm reading off the high range gauge. If I want to read off the low range gauge, I would shut off this valve, close this valve, and open the valve that reads off the low range gauge. So this valve means that I'm reading off the low range gauge. If I open this valve, that means I'm reading off the low range gauge. If I open this valve, I'm reading off the high range gauge. So right now I've configured it to read off the low range gauge. So when the loading begins, you'll see this black needle moving. You'll see the black needle moving. This one's not going to do anything because the high range valve is closed. Okay, I want both needles together. You see there's a red needle and a black needle. Okay, there's a red needle and a black needle. So when it starts loading, both needles will rise together. When it fails, when the specimen fails, the red needle, the black needle will fall back down. The red needle will freeze at whatever load it failed at. So both needles will ride together until the specimen fails, and then the black needle will fall back. The red needle will stay in place, and the red needle tells me what the ultimate load was. Okay, so I've got this configured for the low range gauge. Unloading wheel, I want that closed. Okay, where do I put the specimen? Right in here. You see the concentric circles? Well, you know what the concentric circles are called? Yeah, the bullseye, yep. Okay, so I want to make sure that this is lined up on the bullseye. Okay, so you see this part that tilts here? See this tilting mechanism? Because sometimes the specimen is a little bit slanted on the top or the bottom. So this helps to level it out. Okay, so I want this to be level. Kind of tight. Now I'm going to put the loading cap on the top. Uh-oh. It can't fit. So what do I do about that? I have to raise this again. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, how do I bring the top hat down onto the specimen? You turn this wheel. Okay. And there's also a bullseye under here, so I'm trying to line it up properly. Okay, so you think that's nice and tight? Okay. All right, so there, come along. Okay, so now I want to turn on the hydraulic pump. So you see the start button? So I'll press that. Okay, so I want both the needles at 0. I know I'm not using this gauge, but I want both needles at 0 anyway. Okay, so how do I start adding load to the specimen? Okay, start turning the loading wheel, right. So I'm very slowly going to turn this. Everything's tight in here. Okay. The needle's moving. You all okay back there? I don't think they can see anything. You see how the needle is moving? You out in the audience here, can you see this? I'm talking to my millions of subscribers on YouTube. So how many pounds is it up to now? About 2,000. See, that's 5,000. 10,000. See that? So up to about 2,000. 30,000. You notice that I have the load valve, or the load wheel open very little. I heard it crack. Here are your goggles. You notice how the needle dropped there? Keep your goggles on for this. You all right over there? So you notice that the red needle freezes at the maximum load. So it went up to 48,500. I want to see if I can get any more than 48,500. I might not be able to. Machine is moving, the bottom is coming out. What kind of failure is this? Have you got your little chart in front of you? What kind of failure would you call this? I see big vertical cracks. What do we call that? Probably column. So let me see, how much did this pay? 4,600. Pardon me. 48,600. So put that down as the maximum load. 48,600. See, the 8 right there means 48,000, and each tick mark is 100 pounds. So I see 6 tick marks beyond that. So 48,600. Did you write that down? 48,600. How far can this move? About 2 inches. So it would be impossible to try to compress it entirely because this only moves up 2 inches. Okay, I want to unload it now. So I'm going to stop loading it by closing the loading wheel. And then I'm going to open the unloading wheel. Watch it go down. Watch this go down. See it dropping back? Okay, and I open up the unload wheel all the way and that drops back down.